Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. This is Irrational Wrestling Mark, and I'm going to be talking about the breakout stars of the year for WWE and AEW. I'm just going to reveal one breakout star, not individually from AEW, but overall from both companies. And on this list, you got 10 wrestlers from WWE and AEW. So I'm just going to go by the list of wrestlers that were ranked for Breakout Star of the Year, or should I say candidates. And I'm going to reveal to you who I choose as the Breakout Star of the year. So let's begin with number 10, Sky Blue from AEW. Now, Sky Blue has appeared on AEW television for well over a year, but has begun developing traction and establishing her place in the AEW Women's Division in 2023. The spunky underdog has been a regular in the Outcast rivalry with the AEW Originals, and on the June 14th episode of Dynamite, challenged Toni Storm for the World Women's title. She was unsuccessful in that match, but continued to demonstrate improved in-ring skills and a better connection with the AEW faithful than she ever enjoyed before. And, memorable moments in her hometown of Chicago and few matches with fellow young star of the future, Anna Jay, have helped her build on her build on a career year. And an energetic performer with a fearless in-ring style, she has the potential to be one of the faces of the women's division for the next decade. Man, she's definitely good to look at, I'll tell you that much. That cake, the bakery section is, I gotta say, you can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? You just cannot miss it. One thing I'll give Tony Khan credit for is him putting some hot-ass women on the TV set. Britt Baker's been complaining that she ain't been getting no TV time. I'm sorry, that bitch ugly, and she don't need no damn TV time. Give all the TV time to Sky Blue and a Jay's fine ass, and we'll be good from there. You know what I'm saying? And also Willow Nightingale too. Yeah, I wouldn't say she's breakout star of the year, but she's definitely good to look at nonetheless. So AEW is doing something right when it comes to that. And speaking of which, number 9, Willow Nightingale. So yeah, do not let Willow Nightingale fool you. Behind her vibrant smile and good vibes is a tough, physical, professional wrestler. She has proven it on multiple occasions here in 2023, including during a Ring of Honor Women's Championship match against Athena at Death Before Dishonor, that made history as the first women's match to main event a ROH pay-per-view. It was also the first time 2 black women competed in the main event of any ROH or AEW show. They also previously competed in the main event of AEW Rampage. A historic feat would mark a great year for any wrestler, but Nightingale did not stop there. She proceeded to win the Owen Hart Memorial Women's Tournament, defeating Ruby Soho to take home the honors and solidify what had already been a breakthrough year. Yeah, I haven't watched much of Willow Nightingale. I've seen some of her matches. Yeah, she's pretty versatile in the ring, very talented. She's probably only one of the few skillful botchless women's wrestlers on AEW, right? I'm not really too impressed with the women's division in AEW, but I'm impressed with the cake bakery section with, Anna Jay, Willow, and, I'm saying, Sky Blue. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely good to look at, man. So once again, Tony Khan, with another W when it comes to putting some fine ass women on the TV set. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he has to do more often. Like, it's not just about wrestling, it's also about sex appeal. Like, you got to be looking good. You know what I'm saying? You're looking fine. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I wouldn't really put her as the breakout star, but she's definitely she deserves her place on the list. Yeah. So moving on to number 8, we got Alpha Academy and Maxine Dupree. Yeah, Chad Gable, Otis, Maxine Dupree have developed into the most unexpectedly fun act on Monday Night Raw, which I agree. And much of that can be attributed to Gable and Otis having the time of their lives, while Dupree has thrown herself into the role of the eager trainee looking to develop her in-ring skills. She has never looked out of place or overwhelmed, seemingly going with the flow and genuinely investing in her work. Yeah, I definitely agree. Alpha Academy has always been consistent. They're not just good wrestlers, but they're also good characters as well. And I talk about character development, and it's very important that wrestlers develop their character because in return, they grow a connection with the audience. And Gable and Otis, they've done that. And they've helped Maxine Dupree, unexpectedly, she's gained a connection with the crowd too. And she's a bona fide rookie. It's actually fun to watch her in the ring because, not only does she look good, not only is she great to look at, but it's like she's not like some technical wrestler, and she doesn't need to be because the crowd already digs her. The crowd is already into her. She already has the personality. She already has the character development going on for her, But it's just it's gonna be fun to see her develop in the ring every week, every time she has a chance to wrestle. It's good to see a natural progression from someone that's still green in the ring, but they have potential to be better. And you want to see that progression you want to see that progression every week, But I'm not going to say she's breakout star of the year. I would say she deserves to be on the list with the other two women, Willow and Sky Blue. So moving on, as well as Gable and Otis. They've been on a roll as of late. And you know what? They don't have to win matches. It'll be nice to see them win more matches, but they're just an entertaining act, man. Like they've been consistent all year round. Ever since Triple H, took over, he's done a good job making Gable and Otis just entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Number 7, we have. Okay, I'm probably gonna butcher this name. So I just know I am. Konosaku. See, I already butchered it. I already don't know I butchered the name. Konosaku Takeshita, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I really don't. I'm horrible at this. Yeah, I cannot pronounce this name. Maybe y'all can help me out or something. Konosaku, y'all know what I'm talking about. The Japanese wrestler that's part of the Don Callis family. Yeah, that guy. So yeah, much like Alpha Academy, there is an argument to be made that Konosaku broke out in 2022. It was the first year that he made a major impact on American television, and he had the opportunity to highlight his ability against top stars and perform to adoring audiences. This year, though, he broke out of the mold of, quote unquote, really good, promising young wrestler and became a significant part of an AEW storyline, thanks to a shock and heel turn at Double or Nothing. Kanasaku sided with Don Callis after betraying the Elite and is now in a position for an inevitable showdown with Kenny Omega. His entire stature in AEW has been elevated by the turn, and while last year may have signified his arrival on the international stage, this year has and should continue to be a breakout campaign for the talented young star. Yeah, I haven't really watched much of Kanasaku. I've seen a couple of his matches. I think I've seen one match last year that he had with forgot his name. I think I saw his match with Kenny Omega. Yeah, he's a pretty impressive athlete, and I can see why he would be breakout star of the year. Well, one of the breakout stars for AEW at least. But yeah, he seems to be an impressive prospect. I can definitely see him winning a title next year, and him being part of a prominent storyline is good for him. It's not just going to be him being this fantastic, great wrestler from Japan. He can be more than just a fantastic wrestler from Japan. He can be elevated to a prime spot. Like I said, I haven't watched enough of him, but I can see just by the way he wrestles and his talent alone can make him, be put on this list. So that's number 7. Number 6 is the Guns. Given the talent on this countdown, the idea that Austin and Colton Gunn would rank as highly as they do may seem almost sacrilegious, but they have quietly turned in the best year of their young careers while simultaneously discovering the presence and personality that will carry them to the top of the tag team wrestling sooner rather than later. The second generation competitors kicked off 2023 by winning the AEW World Tag Team titles from the Acclaimed. They would lose the gold 2 months later to FTR, but were the main event of Dynamite in the process. Since dropping the titles in April, they have found a home in Bullet Club Gold, where their arrogance and cockiness fit right in with that of Juice Robinson and Switchblade Jay White. That faction has become one of the centerpiece acts of Collision, and allotted the brothers the spotlight that they received all too inconsistently on Dynamite, having shared the ring with CM Punk and FTR, the headlining stars on the show. They are clearly viewed as building blocks for Collision's future, and that is a testament to their work to improve and the connection they have forged with the audience. Yeah, so the Guns, I watched some of their stuff. I watched some of their tag team matches, and, they definitely have a lot of personality. I'll give them that. They haven't really blew my socks off when it comes to their in-ring work, but from a character standpoint, I can see why they would be pushed. And, I think they should get another tag team title reign in the future. And obviously they're viewed pretty heavily because they're involved in the main event storyline with MJF and Jay White. So obviously Tony Khan likes these guys and they're received well. But man, when I look at them, they look so much like Billy Gunn. It's unreal. It's unreal how they look just like their father, man. That's crazy. But I would say, yeah, for a tag team in AEW, they've had probably one of the better years. For a tag team, I would say they surpassed the Acclaimed in terms of being one of the best tag teams. I would say 2022 was definitely the year of the Acclaim. From a tag team standpoint, being breakout stars, I would say that the Acclaim definitely took that medal. Yeah, just like with the other rest of the candidates, I haven't really watched enough of the Guns to form a long opinion, a better opinion on them, right? But yeah, that's number 6. Number 5, we have Swerve Strickland. Anyone paying even the slightest bit of attention to pro wrestling beyond the big promotions knew who Swerve Strickland was way before he competed on major cable TV. He was influential, acclaimed, and one of the busiest wrestlers. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread that. I thought I said busiest. Nah, it's one of the buzziest wrestlers in the world. You can also say busiest too, because I'm pretty sure he's a hip hop artist. He does music as well. So, and he also has a podcast, I'm assuming, right? So, yeah, you can say he's also one of the most busiest wrestlers in the world too. I wouldn't say buzziest, but I would say busiest, because he got a lot going on. What I'm saying? Homeboy got a lot going on right now. Dude, the dude's a triple threat. Wrestler, music artist, podcaster. I mean, he got a lot going on, man. And this year for AEW, he has broken out as one of the most ruthless, calculated heels in the industry. He entered the year having betrayed his tag team partner and friend Keith Lee after a bumpy start to his singles push with a failed Mongol affiliate faction. He finally gained momentum by merging with Prince Nana's group to create the Mongol Embassy. I think I butchered that word, but who cares? Since then, Strickland has lifted off. Matches with Darby Allin elevated his status among fans and resulted in some of the best work of either man's career, not to mention the best content on Dynamite. Frustrated with his seeming inability to defeat his longtime rival, he partnered with AR Fox to brutally attack 18-year-old Nick Wayne, Allen's protege, and leave him in a bloody mess at Father Buddy Wayne's wrestling school. Now, with momentum on his side and a crowd invested in his weekly antics, Strickland will compete in the biggest match of his career in a jam-packed Wembley Stadium at All In. Okay, well, this was definitely written before All In, so we didn't even get to his stuff with Adam Page. All right, we didn't get to that storyline with Hangman Adam Page and their full gear match, right? Bar none, Swerve Strickland, you can make a big case that he is breakout star or MVP of the year for AEW, right? Specifically for just AEW, being MVP or breakout star of the year. He definitely had a breakout year, that's for sure. Because he was in the tag team with Keith Lee starting out. That didn't really go too well. Turned on Keith Lee, had his own faction. And and he really started to pick up the pace. You know, he started to pick up momentum in the summer, and now he's off to the races. Like after his Texas death match with Adam Page, I mean, that shit was brutal, man. So brutal. And him winning the match, you know, he's definitely bound to win the world title by next year. Like that's the one guy that I can see when it comes to the AEW roster of breakout talent. He's definitely primed to win that world title. I can see it happening by next year. And I'm pretty sure in the Continental Classic, he's undefeated. He defeated Jay White, I believe, and defeated Jay Lethal, I think. Yeah. So, man, he's been on a huge roll. And, you know, how can you not say that Swerve Strickland is Breakout Star of the Year? It's a strong case. But ultimately, he is not my pick. If there wasn't a certain someone on this list, I would have to go with Swerve Strickland. I mean, he's the obvious choice, right? So that's number 5. Number 4, we have Damian Priest, Senior Money in the Bank. There has never been any denying that Damian Priest is a talented, I cannot read today, y'all. I just cannot read. I don't know what's going on, man. Let me try this one more time. There has never been any denying that Damian Priest is as talented a big man as we have seen in a ring in years. He has raw athleticism that allows him to do things others his size should not be able to do, and his underlying charisma has always been apparent. I feel like you can say that about every other big man in wrestling. Like, who's to say that we can't say that about Vader, right? Vader, Big Show in his prime, you know, Kane. Like, we said those same things about Kane. Kane was very athletic. You know, Undertaker in his prime was so athletic, man. I mean, there's a lot of big guys, bigger than Damian Priest, that could do things that no one their size can do. I mean, you could say the same thing for all those guys. Damian Priest is no different. I'm not trying to take nothing away from Damian Priest. I would say he's one of the most talented strikers on, you know, a very talented powerhouse as well. But he just needed a consistent platform to, you know, display it, you know. And after 2 years of stop and go pushes, he has finally found his place as the enforcer of Judgment Day. And this year has been a banner year for the Bruiser, beginning with the most significant match of his career, Backlash, which was, in my opinion, one of the better matches of the year with Bad Bunny. Yeah, a genuine match of the year candidate that was better than it had any right to be. And it signified that no stage was too big for Priest. His efforts in that match and his willingness to put over his former tag team partner and friend earned the trust of WWE officials, and by July, he was tapped to win the men's Money in the Bank briefcase, which, yeah, I look back at that and say that he deserved to win the briefcase. You know, I mean, he had a task with making Bad Bunny look like $1 million, leading him into a great match, right? That was his responsibility. The first time their tag team match at WrestleMania, that was his like job to lead Bad Bunny and to make the match work. And it was great. He made the match work, and he did what he was supposed to do that night. You know, he delivered twice when it came to Bad Bunny. You know, Bad Bunny was essentially Damian Priest's responsibility, and that was like his test. That was like his personal test. And I think, well, I don't think I know. Those 2 times he passed the test. And that's why he's the Money in the Bank holder right now. And I think Damian Priest is going to be world champion by next year, probably after WrestleMania. And I think he's going to be a great world champion if they give him the proper booking. Obviously, he needs to win more matches because he's been losing a lot of matches, so which is not good. But because any Money in the Bank holder, they have a history of losing matches. Damian Priest, he can't afford to be losing any matches. If you want the fans to believe that he can be a world champion, he can't lose matches often. He just can't. So, but even though he hasn't cashed it in, he's still a central figure on Raw. He's still consistent on Raw. Say what you will about Judgment Day, but Judgment Day has been, they definitely have their bright moments. Maybe the act is getting tired at this point, but you can't deny that they've been consistent, that they've been trying to put on the best TV, best matches, even though it could have been a little bit redundant at times. But, but I'm definitely not going to say Damian Priest was Breakout Star of the Year, definitively. He does make a decent case. Not as strong as Swerve Strickland, but, yeah, I would say he comes in third or second of being a Breakout Star of the Year. Number 3, we got Io Sky. Entering 2023, Io Sky felt like the third wheel of Damage Control. Everyone knew how good she was dating back to her time in NXT, and she was a workhorse for the faction, having competed, every week on TV. But her significance was not apparent until she challenged Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Backlash. Yeah, that crowd was very hot that night, man. And I thought she was definitely going to beat Bianca clean at Backlash. I would have had her win, no doubt. But, her win Money in the Bank was a good moment. Obviously, there is dissension in Damage Control. And, the story of Io's, women's title reign has been, kicking Bayley out of Damage Control, but also Bayley helping her retain the title. Then her bringing in her good friend Kairi Sane to help her beat Bianca at Crown Jewel, But when it comes to matches and her, she just delivers, man. Io just delivers. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, bar none. And when it comes to the War Game matches, I mean, she's definitely a highlight of those matches. And, she started the year off a little rocky, being a third wheel Damage Control, having to job a lot. But, she really picked things up at Money in the Bank. And, she's definitely had a bigger role in, on TV as of late. And, feels a little bit more important, But she's part of the most important, women's storyline right now in the division, And that's, kicking Bayley out of Damage Control and, leading her into a face turn eventually. That should be pretty good. But I think overall, Io has excelled. And, when it comes to her matches, I feel like she puts on the better matches as champion. Better than Rhea, in my opinion. So, yeah, she ranks number 3, but I'm definitely not picking her as Breakout Star of the Year. Number 2 is LA Knight. Yeah. So LA Knight, he may not have the most, well, he may have the most momentum or monumental, I should say, 2023 of anyone else on it, thanks to the immense popularity and a vocal, passionate fan base that will not allow the WWE not to push him. And, his push has been not forced, but more so demanded. And but it was much deserved as well. LA Knight deserved to be in the position that he's been put in the past couple months. The guy had to work his ass off to get on the main stage. At 40 years old, he finally had his big break, and you can tell that he's thriving in his role right now, and he's connecting with the audience. Now, starting out, he was feuding with the late great Bray Wyatt, rest in peace to Bray, on the Royal Rumble match that he had on. We thought that he was going to lose a lot of momentum or just not ever recover from that feud. It looked like that for a while, but then I would say around on the build up to Money in the Bank, that's when the crowd started to be more louder, more vocal for LA Knight. That's when he started to gain the fans, essentially. And then just blew up around SummerSlam, right? When he won that Battle Royal and his feud with The Miz. So he definitely arrived the middle of the year. I wouldn't say he wasn't like that all year round. LA Knight just now became over, right? He just now got over. So for the sole purpose of that, I really can't put him as like the breakout star of the year. Even though right now he's mega over and he's always been good in the ring, but he cuts great promos and a lot of charisma, a lot of character, a lot of personality. I mean, you can definitely pick him as a, genuine pick, for breakout star of the year, no doubt. And I wouldn't blame you if you would. I can see why you would pick him as breakout star of the year. But I'm not picking him as breakout star of the year because he didn't have that steam all year around. Because like I said, he just now started to get over. But the next one on this list has to be my pick, right? So number 1, we have none other than Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I don't think that was a surprise. When you talk about biggest breakout star of this year, you have to be saying to yourself, oh, it's Dominic Mysterio. That's pretty obvious, right? But just look at the year that Dominic Mysterio has had. I'm pretty sure he's wrestled over 100 matches this year on the same amount of matches as Rollins, Rhodes, and Gunther, I believe. And, he's been putting in a lot of work in terms of getting better in the ring. He's definitely, listen, you want to talk about the most improved wrestler of the year, it's Dominic Mysterio. Out of everybody in that list that I just talked about, even the female wrestlers, they were always good in the ring. But, with the exception of Maxine Dupree. But the thing with Maxine Dupree is she's not on TV every week. And she hasn't always been a main fixture. So I can't really, say that she's the most improved. But Dirty Dom, he started the year whining about a short prison stint. That was great, by the way. That whole prison angle that, he endured after breaking and entering his family home over the holidays. The illegitimacy of his prison Dom persona angered and annoyed fans to the point that they mercilessly booed the second generation star, to the point that he could not conduct his promos. And that's on a weekly basis. Because every time this guy comes out, man, every time his music hits or the fans, they just see him, they see blood. They see blood. Like, seriously. They don't let this man get a word in edgewise. They don't allow this man to talk at all, and it's great. That's the type of heat that a heel should be getting. Like, Dom didn't have to try hard to get this reaction. He just, he just got it by turning on his own father and being a straight up asshole, being a straight up punk ass, disrespecting his mother, his sister. Like, at that point, how can you not boo him? He's doing all the right things as a heel, as a bad guy, staying true to his character, you know what I'm saying? When he showed blatant disrespect to Rey Mysterio, his father, daring him to hit him and challenging his father to a match at WrestleMania, the disdain grew louder. The disdain grew louder by the fans. And by the time of WrestleMania rolled around, fans wanted to see the Hall of Famer whoop his son on the grandest stage. And, that's exactly what happened. But Dominic Star meter, I guess, did not diminish. And I guess his star power did not diminish, right? He still maintained his momentum. If anything, it grew thanks to the magical chemistry that he has with Rhea Ripley, right? And while he's still clearly a heel, right? The partnership of him and Rhea Ripley, they resemble that of Eddie Guerrero in China, right? And the crowd, they buy into that dynamic. It reminds you a little bit of China and Eddie Guerrero back in the day. You can say that Dominic Mysterio is Judgment Day. Without Dom and Judgment Day would be nothing. Nothing. He's currently a ratings draw for NXT. North American champion. And that says a lot, man. For young as Dominic is, and like this low expectation of Dominic Mysterio starting out, because we didn't think that Dom was ever going to get this far in his career as he did. We were not expecting him to make such progress the way he has, man. So him being a ratings draw for NXT without him being such a major star early in his career, that is impressive. That's impressive as hell, man. So just that alone, with the consistencies of his storylines and him just being a main fixture on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, the guy has been feuding with everybody, man. One week he's feuding with Wes Lee. Next week he's feuding with a Nathan Fraser. He's feuding with a Dragon Lee. Then he's feuding with his father. Then he's feuding with the LWO. Then he's feuding with Cody Rhodes. He's feuding with Jey Uso. Then he's feuding with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. You know what I'm saying? The guy has just been very consistent, and he's involved with pretty much everything. So, and not just being involved, but like just being watchable. Like the guy is watchable, Like you want to see him get his ass whooped. Seeing him getting all that heat from the crowd without even saying a word, it's wonderful. It's truly wonderful, and that speaks volume to how talented Dominic Mysterio is. And if he became world champion, bro, listen, that's your next Money in the Bank winner. I'm serious. Like, Dominic Mysterio is perfect. His character is perfect. Perfect for the Money in the Bank contract. I'm dead serious. He should win the briefcase next year. Have his own group, more likely the LWO with Santos Escobar and whoever. And they should make sure that he wins that briefcase and wins the world title. Can you imagine a Dominic Mysterio being the one that beats a CM Punk or a Cody Rhodes for either world title? Can you imagine like him cashing in, him either beating Punk or Rhodes, or shit, Damian Priest, because Damian Priest cashes in, he more likely the world title. Dom can win Money in the Bank next year and cash in on Damian Priest. That would be wild. Because there's been talks of Damian Priest being the Judgment Day eventually. I would assume after him and Finn lose the tag team titles and him just going solo. That would be a great way for him to be kicked out of Judgment Day. And Dom winning Money in the Bank and cash in on Damian Priest to become World Heavyweight Champion. Guys, that would be wild. The fans would lose their shit. That's a heel world champion that you would want to tune in to watch. To see him lose that title. But then the frustration of him having all this help, him cheating to win, him taking the easy way out, it would just frustrate and anger the fans to no end. He has the help of his faction, Rhea Ripley. It's like, dude, that dude's going to be untouchable. Untouchable. So with that being said, out of everybody on this list, the AEW stars and, WWE stars, no one really warrants Breakout Star of the Year more than Dominic Mysterio. So with that being said, Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, is your Breakout Star of the Year. And I can see everybody, a lot of people agreeing with me. And, that he deserves that honor. I would say maybe 2 or 3 people on this list have a strong case of being the Breakout Star of the Year. But listen, if Dom did not have the year that he had at all, if he never turned heel, he never turned on Ray, never joined the Judgment Day, listen, Dom would probably be so irrelevant, man. So irrelevant. You would have to put him down in NXT to find himself. But yeah, if if not Dom, Swerve Strickland for sure. But if you just look at the year that he has had from top to bottom, from his character work, promos, his improved in-ring ability, like he's improved in the ring so much, it's crazy. Him being in one of the better storylines for WrestleMania, and his consistency, man, overall, like he's been a workhorse on top of that, you know. He's not like Roman Reigns wrestling every now and then. No, he's a workhorse, you know, that's been on TV every week, wrestling almost every week. Yeah. So Dom is your breakout star of the year. So that being said, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you all for watching. If you made it through this entire video, make sure to hit that like button for the algorithm. Subscribe for more content. And this is another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. To see who is the true breakout star of the year from AEW or WWE. And with that being said, thank y'all for watching, and I'm out. Peace.